boom, that thing just, okay, let me get it done. Just leave me alone. Go away.
Right.
Let me do it. And so I did.
And so you put in 5 or 6 different pieces.
And I
brought it
and
back.
it was like,
And what did they say? when
not
you
even
brought
an
it back?
hour.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
done. So I took it back up there and I said, did you want me to glue it too? She said, how did you do that?
Taking off the hat for me today?
I forgot I was inside.
Oh, yeah, that's an old military thing.
Yeah.
Were you ever in the military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Army.
Yeah, okay, that explains it. Yeah, me too. I was in the Navy.
Unless,
and you always,
unless I have a
Yeah.
side on, then you don't have to take your hat off.
Yeah, people don't realize that while you
People
always
don't
take it.
know.
Yeah, no, you can't wear no covers indoors.
Well, actually, Grandma always got mad too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did. Yeah, she's old.
Take your hat
old
off. You're
school.
inside. You're gonna be bald.
By the way, folks, we're here with Tim Yazzie. Tim Yazzie is a silversmith that lives in Tucson, who I'm fortunate enough to have gotten to meet. Tim kind of walked into my door one day and said, "Hey, you buying?" And I'm like, I don't know. Let me see what you do.
Buy some jewelries.
Yeah. So let's see your jewelries.
Yeah.
And the jewelries was very, very good. And so, we've just kind of gotten a relationship, and I really have enjoyed working with you. You're straightforward, really talented guy. And I thought, man, I need to have you on just to let the world know, because people may not know who the heck Tim Yazzie is, but they damn well should. And I want to make sure that they get to know today. So welcome. Tim, you're a New Mexican, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Me too, baby.
Yeah.
Love that. So where'd you grow up? San Felipe?
Oh, I grew up all kinds of places,
Yeah.
but I'm from San Felipe because my census is from San Felipe. So
Most importantly,
where I'm
do they
from.
have casinos at San Felipe? They
there,
don't. do
There
they?
is a casino.
Is there
there.
one? I didn't know that.
It's called Hollywood.
Oh,
Hollywood
that's
Casino,
right.
yeah.
How could I miss
Right
that?
down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, no, Hollywood Casino. Yeah,
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, and so you have Richard Chavez also is
I've heard the name. But I
yeah
don't know who
yeah
he
he's
is.
no good jeweler.
I think I saw him before at
Yeah.
a shop up there by Buttiger's. They
Yeah,
had a
no, he's
little
really good.
strip mall there.
yeah.
And I think I remember seeing him one time.
So you grew
growing
up at San Felipe, but you're also Santo Domingo and Navajo, right?
Yeah, half San Domingo, a quarter San Felipe, and a quarter Navajo.
So just all mixed up.
Yeah, I grew up mixed up. I'm finally figuring things out.
But that is a little different and hard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you have three very
yeah.
different,
Yeah,
I guess San Felipe and Santo Domingo, there's some ties there I can see easily enough.
yeah, they're all kind of like indifferent to each other. I shouldn't say they're racist against each other or anything. They just kind of don't get along. It's just people don't understand that one Pueblo is different from another Pueblo, and they're all totally different from Navajos.
Completely
So, yeah.
different. Yeah.
So growing up, I always, faced that kind of. I had my friends, but I always faced that kind of. Oh, you're San Felipe or you're San Domingo.
Yeah.
Go on, you're Navajo, or Navajo say you're not Navajo. Go back to the Pueblo. It's just always,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and of course you got a Navajo last name, right?
Yeah.
Yazzie's.
Yeah,
I
one
mean,
of the-
people immediately
one of
go,
the
"Oh,
better.
he's got to be Navajo," and including me.
One
I
of
was
the
like,
most
"Oh,
famous Navajo names is Yazzie.
yeah, no." I use it in my books sometimes for
Oh,
my murder
yeah,
mysteries.
yeah.
Yeah. No one
Yeah.
can get mad at me. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
But so you had to deal with that growing up. So you grew up primarily at San Felipe?
Yeah, I spent about 3 years, I think, in California.
Mhm.
A place called Lone Pine,
I
California.
know exactly where it is. I was a doctor
below,
up there.
Yeah, just below Mount Whitney.
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
doctor working at Lone Pine.
And so
Beautiful.
I still have family there. I got my cousins. My aunt still lived there.
And that was as a kid you grew up through?
Yeah, I think it was like 3rd grade to end of 6th grade. I came home.
That's interesting. So
in
that
7th grade.
really, that had to be kind of a culture shock, right? Because there's not
It
that
was,
many native
yeah, it
people
was,
in Lone
I
Pine.
had fun.
Yeah.
I had fun. People asked me, "Oh, what do you do? You still live in teepees?" Yeah.
Yeah, did they
Yeah,
really?
we
Yeah.
live in teepees. This is how we do things. So it was fun.
Yeah.
I filled a lot of people with a lot of different things.
And do you think it changed you as a person by having that early experience in California and like more of an Anglo society?
Yeah, it kind of ties me to when people talk about they got taken from the Pueblo and put in schools, and you can't talk your language, and because
Right.
nobody really understands them, or
Right.
they didn't want them to speak that. So
Right.
it kind of ties that together for me because, first of all, I grew up I grew up just speaking my language. That was the first language I learned.
Mm.
So when I went to school, that's when then I have to learn English, of course. And it's always been like that in the Pueblo. I don't know if it still is. When I go home, I hear a lot of the kids running around speaking English,
Mm-hmm.
and I get enjoyment. Now, I'm not the most fluent, but I speak.
And this is in San Felipe.
Yeah, but I speak well enough to know that these kids should be speaking Indian or native first,
Right.
and then English. But
Give us
yeah.
give our audience a little taste of what it's
do
like.
you want to know? Kuatsu.
I want to know about your golf game in San Felipe. Go ahead.
I don't. There's no golf game on the mesa. You hit it, it goes off the edge.
Well, tell me that in San Felipe. Let's hear it.
Golf? I don't think there's a word for golf. You can't. That means you're not. You can't hit it anywhere off anywhere.
So until you were like 6, going to first grade, you basically were native speaker. Your mom and dad and
Head Start.
Head Start. Yeah.
Yeah, Head Start.
Did you grow up with your mom or your
a little
grandma?
bit of
Yeah.
a little bit of everybody? I think.
Good.
I love my mom. I love all the people that have given me information.
Yeah.
I love the people that love me.
Right.
Because I was just, I don't know where to put it at. I was just around with different people all the time, and regardless of who it was, everybody always tried to give me good information. And the thing that I remember the most was a gentleman. I call him Grandpa, but he was my grandma's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that no matter who tells you what, listen, because open your heart, because your heart will know the good stuff.
Yeah.
And if it's not good, then you can just be kind or
that's really good advice.
And just listen. But then if you don't want to deal with it, just let go of it.
Right.
But
pick the good stuff and get rid of the rest.
So it's helped me in life.
And did you also speak Santo Domingo?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you speak.
A little bit.
So you speak. And how about Dene, Navajo?
No.
Too hard?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I can understand a little bit, but I didn't. And I kind of say, man, I wish my family would let me go that way, because my mom wouldn't let me go over there. Or I want to go see my grandpa, but then I can't go because I got no way to get there.
And your grandpa's full-blooded Navajo?
Yeah, he was a code talker.
That's super interesting. He was one of the code talkers?
Yeah,
What's his name?
Joe S. Yazzie.
Uh-huh.
The S was for Shorty. I guess back in the day, I don't know where, I don't really know the story, but I guess he used to be Shorty, and then either he changed it or his dad changed it to Yazzie instead of Shorty.
Oh.
Because Yazzie, I guess, is a word for Yaje, like my little one, my son, my daughter, whatever.
Uh-huh.
So.
And did you ever get to meet your grandfather?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in California, he was out there.
Uh-huh.
I saw him, in fact, a couple of times trying to work on silver.
Oh.
But
was he a silversmith, or he was a silversmith?
I got a couple of pictures from my cousin just the other night.
Mm-hmm.
She sent me a picture of something he did, and I was like, man, I remember seeing something. My grandma had something of his, but I saw that piece and I saw the stamp on the back, and I was like, wow.
And what was the stamp mark? Do you remember?
J.Y.
J.Y. I'll have to look. So that's your grandfather.
Yes.
And so he was an active silversmith for.
Yeah, he was a silversmith. Oh, and he made rugs.
Oh, he was a weaver. That's unusual.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a drug maker.
Yeah.
My uncle's girls have some of his dresses that he made.
Oh.
Or he made specifically for them.
Uh-huh.
And
so did he ever talk to you about code talking, anything like that, or did he mention it at all?
He used to like to play. What do you call this? The horseshoes.
Yeah, horseshoes.
So they're in Lone Pine. Yeah, over in Lone Pine.
Yeah.
There's a park at the end of town going towards Bishop, and it has a big jet plane. I don't know if you're familiar with that little park, but they had horseshoe games there and tournaments and stuff. And so he would go over there, and my grandma would go looking for him when it gets late and tell him, you gotta get home and whatever.
Right.
But I remember him as a kid. He would take us over there and let us go play in the jet plane, and then come over and just sit with him when he's not throwing shoes. And I remember asking him one time, I said, hey, I hear you were a code talker. I think it was my uncle that told me that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just looked at me and says, and what? What do you want to know?
Yeah.
I said, tell me. He says, Yash, he says, I tell you, but I have to kill you. And I took that so
Yeah, I'm
seriously
sure you
because
did.
he
You were
just,
a kid, too.
yeah, he looked at me like so serious.
Well, there was probably some truth in that in a weird way, right?
And come to think, you see the movie after he passed away, because I was kind of upset because all of this code talker stuff went out, and it was supposed to be just, it's a secret,
Right.
and the code talkers were gonna die if they were gonna fall into enemy hands, but you have to kill them, or they have to kill themselves, whatever,
Yeah.
because you got to
Right.
protect the code.
That's right.
So I was kind of upset, and the way he told me, it takes me back to when he told me that. He was so serious about it that I believed him. To this day, I still believe him.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. What year was that? It was a long time ago. I'm not even sure when they put that out to the public that it was.
It was like in late, no, I'm not even gonna guess because it's been a while back.
But you were a kid.
When that movie came out?
No, when you.
Oh
last
yeah,
came-
when I was in
You were a
California,
kid.
that was way back in
Yeah.
80 something,
So
or
even
79 could have been.
yeah, and I don't know when they were it was actually brought to the public attention, but you know it was classified for
Yeah,
years
forever.
and years,
They
forever.
took
Yeah,
it-
they didn't want
They took
anybody.
it to their graves.
Yeah, they
and-
did take it to their
and
graves.
They were supposed to.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's one of the biggest things that kind of struck me about it.
So
And looking back on it, everything that he ever told me, whether it be about, so he was pulling some wire through this little thing
mhm.
one time, trying to make it smaller, and I guess that's what
Making
you call
jewelry.
it, drawing the wire.
Drawing wire.
And he was sitting there just manhandling it.
Right.
And I went to get some wire the other day, and I was like, man, you got so many different sizes of it. And my grandma had a little one of those draw plates
Yes.
in a toolbox that I got from my mom, and it took me back to thinking, wow, this guy used to do it all by hand.
Yeah.
How lucky are we? We could just go to the store and just
Actually
grab
buy
whatever.
the wire. Yeah.
And the rest of it, I try to keep it as all handmade as I can.
Yeah.
But there's times when you're gonna need. Oh,
And when you say handmade, you don't mean that you're not making it with tools and that kind of thing. You're
Yeah.
talking about buying maybe silver that's already pre-cut or
cast or
yeah, something
whatnot.
that you don't have to.
They make by machine.
Yeah, right, like wire.
Watch
for
tips,
instance. Yeah.
wires. I mean, not watch tips, bolo tips.
Yeah, those
that have
kind of
been-
things.
Yeah,
Right.
I make my own bolo tips.
But
I
I've
do.
seen your work, baby, and it's all
I do.
handmade.
I do.
At least
Yeah,
I'm
I do.
paying for it.
No,
like
I
it
do.
is.
I do. And that's the other thing I like. When people go out and say it's handmade, I say, I've seen that already somewhere, But I don't tell them. I just
Right.
keep it to myself.
Right.
Why are you gonna come at me and tell me that? And I take that and I say, well, I'm going over here. I'm gonna go see Mark,
Yep.
and I've got this handmade stuff. What would you say if I brought you something that you know for a fact saw down at say IGS
Right.
or Star Gems? You
Yeah.
saw it in the
Yeah, I
the
know what I
case
would
there.
say. Not interested, and I would never buy any of your stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
whole thing, and the thing that's going on now with all the block and all the stabilized and
Right.
all of that stuff. I think it's okay as long as you tell people, but
Right.
people aren't telling people.
Yeah.
There's a market for it because people can't afford
Right.
$3,000 piece of jewelry or
Right.
1,500, whatever the case might be.
Right, and when we're talking about block or stabilized,
Yeah.
we're talking about turquoise that has been enhanced either with
Yeah.
color and or has put a resin in it, and it's not a natural stone. And I know you work with
Everything.
all natural stones, and yeah, you just brought me in some great Bisbee stuff
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Everything that's been tampered with, would you say? I would say, is not real.
Yeah.
I had a guy tell me that some kind of, what did he call it? Some kind of process. And he said there was a organization that caused that process. And if it's done by that process, it's still
Yeah.
natural. How
Yeah.
can it still be natural if you did something to it?
Right. Yeah.
If my thing is, if I go and buy a stone, they tell me it's natural, and I grind it, and it smells like dirt,
Yeah.
it's natural.
Yeah. It smells like
If
plastic.
it smells like, a lot of it smells kind of like that WD-40.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it smells like when you grind
Yeah.
enhanced or plastic.
Yeah.
or,
Plastic. That's right.
that's what it smells like.
So I want to
So-
get back to when you're a kid and you're
Oh,
growing
yeah, yeah.
up. We'll get to that jewelry stuff. But I want to get the whole history of how you came to be where you are, because you got an interesting ride. You took an interesting ride. So you
Mhm.
came back as a kid. you were 10 or so when you came back to New Mexico?
What are you in 6th grade?
Yeah.
About 10, 11?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
11. So just in time for middle school. Oh, yay.
7th grade. Oh, it was rough.
Yeah, and so what was that like? So you came back from Lone Pine. You've been in a different environment, completely different environment. Now you're back to San Felipe?
No,
Or where'd
we
you?
were in San Domingo.
So
at the
then you
school,
went to Santo Domingo.
Yeah.
And did you have friends and people that you knew other than relatives, or was it like you're
No,
thrown into the
No,
mix?
I already knew people because my mom, she was a teacher at Santo Domingo, and
What did she teach?
She was 1st grade, kindergarten.
Yeah, that's good.
Just the earlier teacher.
Yeah.
But she was there forever, so
Yeah.
half of the Pueblo knows.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was already up there from kindergarten to whenever I left,
Right.
and so I knew the people from home. I mean, from San Domingo, and the people in San Felipe. They all went to a different school. So, but anyway, when I came home, I have this accent. I don't know how thick it is right now or what it sounds like on the mic, but when I went to California, everybody said, "You got an accent." Tease me about that hard time.
Yeah,
whatever.
well, you sound like you're from a native speaker from
So,
New Mexico to me.
So then,
That's not an accent.
so then I
That
come
sounds
home.
like normal
So
for me.
yeah, so when I come home, then my friends all say, "Well,
You have an accent.
He acts like he's a white guy, or he acts like
Yeah, you probably picked up some of that, right?
You know, stuff like that. Where'd you come from? Where
Right.
did this guy come from?
Right.
You know, and so I had my little group. Okay, so there's myself, Wilson Quintana, Mike Bowser. There's 3 of us that are half breeds. Shane's from South Dakota, and Mike's half black and
Yeah.
San Domingo, and then there's me.
Yeah.
So we kind of meshed together, and
You felt that outsider quality and felt a natural bond.
I think that's something that everybody gets tied to different groups because of
Right.
wherever you came from, or whatever what you want
Right.
to do or how you want to act or stuff like that. But that's kind of how. And I just, when I got back to 7th grade, it was really worse than when I went to California, because California, when you're kids, you fight. And just people just kind of want to test you. It's one of those hierarchy
Right.
things.
Right.
And so when I got home, my mom says, "No fighting, whatever whatsoever." She had a big belt, and she was still bigger.
She'll
than me.
fight,
and
right?
she was bigger than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, I respect that." So I go to school. Kids pick on me. I didn't do nothing. Just
Right.
like Jesus, take it on one side of the
Right.
cheek and turn
Right.
your head. Keep going. Well, I went through 7th grade, 8th grade that way, and just people thought I was just a little that didn't stand up for himself.
Right,
You know,
right.
you know the word, but
Yeah, I
anyway. So 9th grade comes along, and I get into the locker room there and decide they're gonna go ahead and just let me have it. Yeah. So I took it and went to the office, and the lady in the office, the principal at the time, was one of my mom's best friends.
Yes.
And they grew up, and she used to babysit, I guess, me when they were in San Francisco when I was first born, or I was probably a year old. But my mom and my dad went out there to go to school from all of that re-education or whatever that was called. But anyway, so she used to carry me at night, and she said I used to cry and cry and cry, and she says, "Well, why didn't you fight back?" I said, "Because my mom said I can't." She said, "Are you more scared of your mom or than the kid?" My mom, yeah, she's got a big belt. I don't get to do it. No.
Yeah.
So my mom came in and said, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" Whatever.
Right.
So she said, "Next time you better defend yourself." And that just gave me the key.
The green light.
Oh, I went back and I fought all year in 9th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that changed the balance for you.
That changed who I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't stuck inside anymore.
Yeah.
And this whole time everything, all of that stuff that I grew up, that I'm trying to tell you in like 15 minutes or whatever. But
we got more time.
But all of that stuff that was inside,
Right.
the whole time, my whole escape was to draw. Pencil drawings.
And when you were drawing, what kind of things were you drawing at that time? Do Do you remember, or do you have any of those kind of things?
When I was in California, everybody liked to go up to Sierra Nevadas and go four-wheeling.
Right.
So I used to draw trucks at first.
Yeah.
Big tires. Background scenes of being up there in Alabama, just below Mount Whitney.
Right.
Up in Big Pine, we used to go camping, backpacking.
And you kept drawing all the way through high school?
I drew a lot.
Yeah.
I drew a lot.
And did you ever consider silversmithing or doing any of that kind of stuff at that time? Or was it, being an artist, was that something that you even thought, oh, I could do this? Because it doesn't sound like you had a role model that was, other than your grandfather who made silversmith, you didn't have somebody that was, you could bench next to.
No, like I said, back in the day when I saw him pulling that wire, I was kind of curious, but he was kind of mean, you know? And okay, whatever. But I just sat there and watched him. Didn't ask no questions. And he says, yeah, this is how you do it. You know, I don't even know if I'm imitating him right, but this is the way you got to do it. This is how it's got to be done. This is like life. And, you know, he's just going on, and I'm just listening. So I started drawing, and in fact, my wife and I, we talk a lot about, you know, things that I went through when I was growing up. And I was telling her, because she's taking the art class too, right now with Pima County.
Right.
So I told her, because she was getting frustrated, and I tell her, you know, little things like, but don't rush it. Just do whatever you feel. It don't have to be perfect.
Right.
Just something that you're...
Express your creativity.
Appeals to you.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody else thinks.
Right.
So, and I was telling her that back in the day, I used to draw. And I used to draw, and I used to draw. And one of the kids, my wife was married to a Paiute, and he had a sister that had a son, and he was crying to his sister about, we were sitting at the neighborhood center, and we were drawing, and he was saying, I want to draw like girl. I want to draw. That's my middle name, by the way. Everybody knows me by it. If some people see this from home, they're going to say, he's not Tim, that's Earl. But anyway, so...
T.E.
Yeah, so he was saying, I want to draw like girl. And I remember, like it was yesterday, this lady, her name is Nancy Naylor, and she says, but Sam, Earl, he's different. That's all he does is draw all day long. He doesn't do anything else. And that kind of rung out to me. This is just like the last week. This all came up. And that kind of struck me, you know, because now you're asking me this.
Right.
What drew me to whatever silver.
To silver, that's right.
And so when I got home from California, my mom and them were still doing turquoise, nipping and making chokers. And she had a friend.
When was that? What year would it have been?
I see, 81.
And that's in Santo Domingo they're doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's San Domingo. But,
yeah.
Because she had a good friend. Her name was Rose Medina. Jenny and Steffi and Pearl, we all grew up together. Kind of, they used to live right across the street from us. But I remember even when we were kids, they were good friends. My mom and their mom. But that's when I started seeing them making their chokers, and they would cut them and nip them with the little sight cutters,
right? And
drill the hole and put them on and get to the grinder and just
For people who don't know, Santo Domingo makes some of the best heat shoes, some of the best beats. They're really that's their forte.
So I saw that growing up.
Yeah.
When I got home, and it kind of sparked in my head.
Yeah. So it was always just kind of ruminating. You have a history of it from your grandfather, but you really you're really more drawing at this point and draw art.
And there's a gentleman in Lone Pine. His name is Langley. Christopher Langley. He's with the film studio or film people right now. And he was my 6th grade teacher. And he had a big old show on their 6th grade for, he put together, there was some musicians, a guy named Bulldog, they used to call him Bulldog, I don't remember his name, but he had a band, so they were up there, they put on the stage, and they had a whole production, play, and then the band, and for my he asked me to do was to draw some stuff, just about Van Halen and about
Right.
rock bands, and so I said okay, so and I gave them to him. So I went to the whole production, and
Mm-hmm.
it came out pretty good. I remember because he had the band up there, and they were playing music while they were having this play, and then at the end the band just played some Van Halen, and he had a slideshow of how they were practicing, and
Right.
every now and then he'd put a big picture of
One of your pieces.
yeah.
And how'd that make you feel to see your artwork up there? I mean, that's kind of a big deal at a big school event like that. You're
Yeah,
10 or 11 years old.
I often, and still, I'm still a little bit insecure about, just because the way I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a fight for me to get where I'm at today, to overcome all these insecurities in my life, because like I don't know if you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic too, so
Didn't know it, but I'm glad you're recovering.
but yeah, so
Keep it going.
all of that stuff, like I said, I'm just now beginning to flourish. I'm just now
Yeah. Well, and you
starting to
also,
bloom.
somewhere in your period of time, you also had a stint where you got to draw a lot, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
whether you wanted to or not. And
Yeah.
how old were you when that happened? Tell us what that was all about.
Oh, let me see. Well, all this kind of ties into everything I did in life. Just the fighting, the drinking, the just being creative about things I do.
Yeah. So when you were a teenager in high school, and even afterwards, you were pretty rowdy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just like, well, I shouldn't say like everybody. I think everybody thought I was mean.
Mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're definitely
just-
not mean.
I just,
You're such a
I
sweetheart.
just,
You were angry.
I
maybe.
learned, yeah. And my mom used to always tell me, "Why do you do that? Why?
Yeah.
Always, why?
Yeah.
And I look at her, tell her, Mom. I used to joke about it, but I said, Mom, look at me. I'm San Felipe. I'm San Domingo. They don't get along.
Right.
And the Pueblos don't get along with Navajos. That's all inside of me. So I'm always
True.
I'm
That's
always just all inside. That's
Right.
the way I am. That's
Yeah.
the way I grew. That's how I got here.
Yeah, I can
This is-
understand that completely.
I came to Earth that way, and it's not my fault. I didn't
Yeah.
do it. So
When did you come to that conclusion? You realized? Did it take a long time and a lot of
yeah,
self-awareness
to-
to figure out that?
46 years.
Yeah,
I'm 50 right now.
yeah. So it's taken a while.
I'm 50 years old right now, and I'm not worried about it because I feel like I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just waking up.
you know who you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got another 50 good years. And,
We hope so.
Yeah, I
And-
know. I'm gonna be around a long time.
Good. That means I'm going to be buying a lot more jewelry.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
why I like you. Yeah, I mean it's a give and go thing. If it was up to me, I wouldn't be over here selling to you or any other gallery.
Right.
I would be at shows, and which is what I'm working towards now.
And so, and the reason he says that for people at home is that when he sells it to me, he has to sell it at a price where I can buy it and then resell it, and I make my profit. And as an artist, it's always good that if you can sell it directly to the client, you're going to get more money. You're going to make more money.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
To help
Though,
people out.
I will say, of having a dealer, so other artists, not just Silversmith, and you might want to look at it a little differently too, is that artists need that representation because they bring something to the table besides buying your work, or they bring to the table things like this, where people get to know you, get to find out more about who you are and what you are. And I think most artists find, for the most part, if they're getting good representation by galleries.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, then you actually end up doing better. Your
And I
prices
think-
still go up, and you get well known.
And I think I told you that when I first started. Remember that I said I want to get away from the wholesale, and I want to keep the good galleries.
Yeah, you did
A
say
couple of-
exactly that. I
couple of
remember
good
you saying
galleries is good for me.
I was confused because you were putting me in the
No,
same
I
ballpark.
didn't. No, I didn't mean to sound any way, but
No, I'm just kidding.
but I do realize if I'm gonna be like Chalmers,
right,
say, or like Jimmy,
yeah,
say, two of the people I learned from,
right,
and be up here,
Right.
I can't go back to what I already know didn't work.
right. And tell us about Chalmers Day. This is a great
Oh.
Hopi artist who did fantastic overlay stuff. That was a mentor, basically, right?
Yeah.
Was that right? I don't know.
He was, and it was a great loss. I really felt,
He died in March, right? He was a pretty young guy.
I don't remember. time and space doesn't work with me very well because I'm
Yeah.
always in the thing doing whatever I do. But it was a couple months back, I think.
Yeah.
I got a call from my mom saying that his sister had called with bad news, and I was like, wow, okay, what was it? Then she told me that Chalmers passed away, and I was like, I just talked to him because I called her asking if she still talked to his sister,
Right.
because I was looking for his number. What I wanted to do was get back in touch with him and see, hey, what does this mean, or or when you draw this, stuff like that. Get a little bit more from him,
Mm-hmm.
and so about a week after the first time I called her, she says, "Well, I got Chalmers' number," so she gave it to me. So I called him, and he didn't answer, and then I called him again about 3 days later and didn't answer. So I called him another week later, and he answered finally. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he sounded just like him, just always. And so we kind of joked around a little bit, and he says, "Well," I says, "Well, have you been making anything, or where are you working at now? Where are you at?" And he said, he's up in Washington. He says, "No," in his Chalmers voice, he says, "Somebody took all my stuff. It was all in the storage, and somebody ripped me off." I was like, man. So the first thing in my mind popped up was, well, I got an extra tank. I got a grinder at home.
Yeah, so they took his tools.
Yeah, so I was like, well, if you want, I can give you what I have. I have some stuff sitting at home.
Right.
So I got a tank and a grinder if you want to use it. And then he says, no, he says, I had a lot of drawings too. I'm just kind of, he was bummed out about it, really. So I was like, And he says, no, I'm carving some wood right now. And I'm doing that.
Like Hopi, making some Hopi chinas kind of thing.
I guess, yeah. He didn't say, but
right.
I don't usually ask people, like, if they tell you, that's what they want you to know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't really pry into people's things.
Yeah, I think that's a native aesthetic, which is a good one. But
so he went through that whole thing, and then I said, all right, and I just told him, well, you can't keep a good silversmith or a good artist down, and he just kind of laughed.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of weird when he laughed. It's kind of, I chuckled about it, and he goes, all right, bro, you take care. He told me. That was the last I heard of him.
Oh, so it was a very sudden death. It wasn't expected at all for him.
No, I think people knew that he was sick.
Yeah.
I guess he was, from what I hear, Brenda was telling my mom that he was going to dialysis, but he never told me.
Yeah.
Man, I wouldn't expect, because I wouldn't go tell. I wouldn't tell you, hey, I'm sick, because I'm only going to be here for whatever.
Right.
That's kind of weird, but anyway, so next thing you know, about a month passes and my mom calls me. It might have been a month, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
She said, bad news. I said, what? She says, Chalmers passed away. And I was like, wow, I just talked to him.
Yeah.
So
luckily you did. Yeah.
And
but he lives on, interestingly, through how you see your artwork as well. I can see, that thread.
And it's not something that I do on purpose.
No.
It just because he told me that he learned from whoever he learned from, Preston's dad, Jesse,
Preston,
Jesse's dad,
Yeah.
And then him and Jimmy, he told me a lot of the stories about what happened.
And
Jimmy Harrison.
Yeah.
And so, and he used to tell me, he goes, just do it. Just do what you're going to do, bro. Don't let nobody ever tell you it's not right. He said, because you see things the way you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you know what you're doing. I know you know where you come from. I know you know whatever things you took part in. The songs, all of that. We used to go to powwows together.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do a lot of things together. And he used to tell me these things,
And so when did you meet him? What?
Oh, back, let's see. In 92, I'm going to say, I met Jimmy Harrison. He had an ad in the paper, and I answered the ad, and he asked me, well, what can you do? I said, whatever you want me to.
What was the ad? What did it say?
I don't recall the exact wording, but it was, he needed inlayers.
Like a bench assistant?
Yeah. If he said, you know how to inlay, give me a call or something like that.
Right. And did you know how to inlay?
I called him. I had just come from Gallup. I was inlaying over there at a place called Nugget Gallery, and the guy's name was Steve something, little short guy.
So let's go to Nugget Gallery. So
Yeah.
you were working as a bench silversmith for what
I
were
wasn't
you
even
doing?
silversmith.
Yeah, you were just cutting stone.
Yeah, just inlay.
And how? And,
Well, actually,
Mhm.
I had come back from the army, and I was there in Gallup, and
when you did the army, did you have to go to deploy to?
no,
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 you
it was way
before, right?
Yeah, before.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was there in Gallup, and I didn't have no job. I didn't know what
You're
to
out
do.
of the military.
Yeah, so
You need a job.
so
no
I-
training other than military.
yeah, so I went to a place that a friend of mine said they were hiring. Go do some. You know how to buff? I said, I've seen it done before, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a whole joke.
Right.
I seen a little on TV. But anyway, so I went over there and I asked them. I said, "Hey, you guys are hiring. What do you know how to do?" I've made slab earrings, and I can make some hishi or whatever.
Right.
You know how to buff? I said, I seen a little bit. I didn't really. Here, they give me a box of stuff and go buff this.
Right.
So I'm over there watching the other guys next to me.
And was there a
They're
line
doing-
of guys doing this?
There was like a guy on here, over here, and the one behind me, and
Yeah.
so I was just watching them and trying to do what they were doing. and
Right.
Then I thought I got it clean enough, so because they gave me one to go test me out. And
Right.
So when you're done, bring it back up here, and we'll see.
Right.
So I took it. I was there for about probably maybe an hour and a half.
Right. And you hadn't been offered a job or anything. They just said, buff
Yeah,
and let's see what you
yeah.
got.
And it was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I took this bracelet back up there, and they looked at it. You didn't even begin. I was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'd been sitting back there." I said, "That thing is hot." Well, that's what we give you. There's that alligator tape.
Uh-huh.
That's what you used to keep your. Well, I didn't know. They said, "Yeah, no." How about inlay? Do you know how to inlay?
Yeah.
I said, "I'm not gonna say yes, but okay." So they took me back there and gave me a bracelet, kind of something like this, but it
Right.
wasn't bezel. It was a cast bracelet, and it had, I think, maybe 5 channels in it, all different
Right.
shapes.
Right.
So they gave me a little thing of turquoise,
Right.
and
Already
they gave
cut?
me, no,
It wasn't even cut?
Yeah, they had
Just-
nuggets.
Oh, wow. So you
So
really
they
had to do the
so
whole
they
thing.
said this is not too expensive turquoise, but it's not cheap either. So take your time, and what I want you to do is take this turquoise, one stone, and put it in the channel. You don't have to cut nothing. Just take that stone and put it in the channel. Right now, is that okay?
Right.
So they sat me in front of this genie machine with the little 4-inch trim saw,
Right.
and I said, "Okay." So
And so
That-
what
that
would you
for-
do? You would cut the stone?
for that task,
Yes.
I already had in my mind. It went boom. The light came on. I said, "Okay, that's all you want."
And when you say the light came on, you thought, hey, I could do this as a living? I could see
No,
or what?
not the living. Just this piece right here.
Or
right
I could
here,
do
right
this
now.
task.
This
This
right here.
task I can do.
And somehow in my mind, with anything in my life, when I know I can do something, boom, that thing just
Yeah.
okay, let me get it done. Just leave me alone. Go away. Go
Right.
away. You know, let me do it. And so I did.
And so you put in 5 or 6 different pieces,
And I
brought it
and
back.
it was like
And what did they say when
not
you brought
even
it
an
back?
hour.
Yeah.
It just
Right.
done. So I took it back up there and I said, "Did you want me to glue it too?" And she just, "How did you do that?" I was like, "What are you talking about? You told me to put them. Did I do something wrong?" And she
Yeah.
said, "No, there's no gaps. You didn't cut nothing." That's exactly what you told me to do, right?
You
She
fit the
goes,
puzzle.
Yeah. So
You have good space relationships.
So she said, "Okay, when can you start?"
Yeah, she knew she found somebody.
Yeah. And
Immediately.
she said, "How long you been doing inlay?" I said, "That's my first time."
Yeah. And so you're a young, you're a young guy.
I'm 20.
You got short hair now
I'm
because
20.
you're
I'm 22. No, it was already growing back. But
Already starting to grow out.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I have to
about
ask
like you.
I have to ask you. So when you went into the military, did you have long hair?
No, I already cut it.
But
I had
okay,
it
so
short.
you
It
didn't.
was short.
Yeah, you didn't have to cut it for the military. Yeah.
I was so ready to go. I just said whatever.
You said
just
you're
send me.
okay.
Yeah.
When I went to boot camp for the officer training school, I showed up in the
You're a
master.
hippie.
I was a hippie. I'm the master. And I got my hair cut that day
Did you cry?
before. What's that?
Did you cry? Oh,
No, I didn't cry, but I was pissed.
yeah.
But I knew that was my job, and I had to do it, and I was okay. I'd do it, and cut my hair, which I thought was, oh my God, this is so short.
Yeah.
Show up, that Gunny Sergeant was on my butt, just right off. He was like, "You need a haircut," and I'm thinking, oh my God,
It's already short.
I just cut it. I cut it off. That's the shortest it's been in like 7 years. So, and I thought it might be even more for you because
my grandma cut my hair.
Yeah.
In California.
Yeah.
I don't know what the whole deal was. I really don't know. Even she came and lived with me for probably about 3 months before she passed away.
And where was she from? Your grandmother?
From San Felipe.
So she was San Felipe.
And she had been in California all her life. Well, most of her life after she grew up there. I don't know when she went out to California, but for whatever purpose, she went out there and she stayed. And so she was on dialysis and people were taking care of her and, you know, she needed help, which is, you're supposed to do that for your parents or, you know, your loved ones. So anyway, my uncle brings her to my place of where I live at the time, and he just says, "Here, it's your turn to take care of her." And I kind of, you know, it kind of bothered me that he said it that way, but, you know, of course, she took care of me.
Right.
So I take her in, and I'm getting everything ready for her, and finally got all situated about a couple weeks later. And then she's happy. She's going to the elderly center to have lunch and, you know, mingling with people. And I got her set up with the dialysis, and no problem. She was going to the casino because they take her over there for bingo or whatnot.
Right.
So finally one day, I come home and she was gone. So what happened? I said, "Oh, they came for her." I said, "Who did?" The same guy that dropped her off came and picked her up, said it was time for her to go. Oh, I was so upset.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks, she was gone.
Oh, wow.
And so I was talking to my cousin about it the other day, and I've never really met her, so we're kind of forming a bond over with the Facebook thing. So it's just one thing after another. Like, all these things in my life had just come for a reason. Everything. And I look back on things now that I can think straight, and I'm thinking straight.
Yeah.
That it's just one of those things. But anyway, back to the story
of Gallup, where you've been able to blow them away with a channel inlay piece.
And so that's what they call it, channel inlay.
Yeah. And so where did you go? So how long were you in that job?
I was there for about a year.
Yeah.
And I started making. I can't remember this guy's name, but he was from Zuni, and he just blew me away with his inlay.
Because he was so good.
And he was fast. But he was always tipsy.
Yeah.
I never went to work that way, but after work I would always, we would hit up something and But yeah, he was just crazy good, and the way they do it is way different from how I do it. But it just fascinated me to see how they do their things, and in my mind I said, "Isn't there an easier way, or can I?" And I start saying, "Well, I'm gonna do it this way," or
And did you take something away from that guy? Were you able to? Yeah. I mean, the Zunis are known for such beautiful channel inlay.
Besides the good relationship or friendship I formed with him, is just knowing how they do it. I don't do it that way, but I know how they do it.
Don't you think? I mean, it seems like from a lot of the native silversmiths that I've talked to, that there is this sharing that they do that individuals want to share, and it's not even tribe doesn't matter. It's really more of how can I help
something you like.
Yeah, like which has happened to you with two different silversmiths, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that's a true statement, that there is a giving there versus going, I don't want you to see how I do it because I don't want you to know.
I was just going to go that route because growing up, my mom, here I go, my mom again, she kind of tried to shelter me all the time because she thought, well, let me help you this way. I'm going to, no, you can't.
Right.
And me, as a young man coming up, I was like, why is she always telling me I can't? Why can't I spread my wings? Why can't I? You know what I mean?
Right.
So one day I sat her down and I said, "Mom, I'm a man. I'm going to be a man. You can't show me how to be a man. Let me fly. Just, if I fall down, just like when I was a kid, pick me back up, dust me off, set me out again. Don't tell me how to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Let me do it on my own. So she did. She let me go that day.
And how old were you? 16?
No, this was
Older.
35.
Oh yeah. Okay. She is a mom.
Yeah.
She's a good Jewish knit.
But yeah. So, but all
Mom.
this, the whole time going back to that insecurity.
Yeah.
I always needed a crutch.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't saying, "Oh, that's a good job," then I think, "Oh, what am I doing wrong?"
Yeah.
You know, if you're not behind me saying, "Yeah, do it like that, do it like that,"
Right.
instead of me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do it this way. You like it? Fine. Then
Yeah.
I'll go take it over here."
Well, somewhere you made a transit because you can do that now.
It's because I put the bottle down.
Yeah, that's it. You think?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I always
And you got a good wife.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
She's very supportive.
Isleta.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
very supportive. I've never, I've had maybe three different women in my life. That really, I shared years with.
Yeah.
And those are the ladies that have my kids. I don't have anything bad to say about them, but I don't really have anything good either. So it's just what it is.
It is what
and
it is.
And we got kids from it.
Yeah, because I can tell there's really a great bond with you and your wife.
So, but yeah, and she's been through a lot of the things that I've been through. We're both on this road to this red road, they call it, together.
Yeah.
And we're just, it's happy-go-lucky because we're not drinking and we're happy.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Because you're miserable for years in that bottle.
And how did you get to Tucson, by the way?
Chasing her.
Yeah, okay. And why was she here? Why wasn't she in New Mexico? Because she's from Isleta.
I don't know if she's pretty open about telling about how she got here because it's a long road. Yeah, she's recovering. She's recovering like me.
So she ended up here.
Yeah, the tribe paid money for her to go get well.
Yeah.
And she ended up staying. She didn't want to go back because that's where
the temptations are there.
So anyway, she's here, and I've known her for years and years, and we've always been friends. Never anything but friends, just friends. I see her at barbecue, or I see her over there because she was one of my friend's cousins. And this kid, he passed away not too long. He was probably in his 20s, and I just adored this guy. He was funny. He was just. To me, it seemed like he needed a friend. He needed help. So I was always there trying to, give him a hand up or whatever. So like a little brother. And then, and that's how I met her. Mm-hmm. This was like, I got him a job with us one year at Whitaker Electric, and he ended up coming, and I used to get, "Don't be so lazy. Oh, I can't stand that." And she brought him some lunch one day, and I seen her. I said, "Hey, who is that?" And he said, "Oh, that's my cousin." I said, "Cool." So we just kind of, and because I was with somebody at the time, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but it was just, we just ended up being friends.
And how long have you been in Tucson now?
A little over 3 years.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that. So now you're a silversmith, and you're doing it full time. And how long would you say you've been doing it as a full time silversmith?
About 6 months.
6 months, yeah, because you do it. Well, that's right.
But maybe 7 months.
Because you're an electrician as well, right? Which is a great paying job, a really great job.
Yeah.
But something in your world said, "I want to do this full time. I don't want to have to support it with being an electrician."
I've always wanted to do it.
And so you made that. How did you decide that, okay, I'm going to just do this instead of making money? Because you were doing it on the side, clearly, along the way, right? I mean, you're a very accomplished silversmith.
I raised my boys doing it. Yeah. And this is the whole thing. I shouldn't say just this year, but when my boys were young, I just stayed home and I did silver work.
Yeah.
Let the mom go to work and whatever she was.
Yeah, but you were making your money too by making the silversmith.
Yeah.
So making the silver work.
So that's what I did when I was with them. But then I put it away I put it away almost 6 years, almost 7 years. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing with silver. I just went to work, electrician.
Did it call you though during those time frames?
Always.
Always. And why didn't you go back? Why?
Because
were you afraid to go back?
I knew what the market was like.
Yeah.
For me and that type of work, I knew the work that I do is worth more than what the
Market would pay.
what the stores would pay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put any store out there, but just the places I was going to were jobbing. They were paying next to nothing.
Yeah.
For
They
the
want to buy
amount
it
of
and
time, yeah.
wholesale it themselves or something.
And a lot of the time I did it because I just wanted to get Pampers, food, and alcohol.
Right. Right.
So whatever you want to give me, okay, I'll take it.
Right.
So that was the whole and I got tired of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's discouraging when you're making really great art and then you're selling it for next to nothing.
Everybody would tell me that. Why do you sell it so cheap?
Yeah. What would you tell them?
Just because I have to.
Yeah, you need the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you became an electrician,
Yeah.
which pays well,
Yeah.
and you did that for 6-7 years?
I started that in 2008.
Yeah. So almost, more than that. Yeah.
So
10
I started
years,
that then.
8 years, 9 years.
And then I didn't like that anymore either because I'm getting kind of old and I didn't like to get up. Actually, no, it's because of the drinking. A lot of it's because of the drinking. Because I was drunk or hungover. I just didn't like to go to work because I was tired and it hurt too much. The sun hurt me because I was whatever, dehydrated, whatever the case might have been.
Physically
like
exhausting.
Yeah, I didn't like it no more. So I got a CDL and get out on the road. And I love the driving part. I really do. I miss it. But fighting for pay, sitting and waiting for loads.
Yeah.
It's all draining. It's really draining to be out there trying to.
And you're not creating either.
But always in my mind, I have a pad and a pencil. And
yeah. Were you drawing things all the time?
Yeah. I just jotting down little things. Sometimes I'll do a portrait. Sometimes I'll whatever.
Yeah. So 6 months ago, you said, "Okay, I'm making this leap."
No, actually, I should say a year ago.
Yeah, and so what was that pushed you to do that?
My wife was working, but the first time I did it, she was so terrified and so worried. How are we going to make the bills?
Right.
Because at the time, I still had the Harley payment, and that was $428 or something a month, and all my insurances, the truck, the truck and the bike and whatnot. Anyway, our bills were pretty high,
right?
And I didn't care because we were both working,
right?
And I got laid off from the union. I joined the union, so I got laid off, and she was in a panic, kind of. I don't know if it was panic, but she was pretty worried about it.
Usually people are.
And like me, I just said, well, I'll just go home and get my tools and make some jewelry. You'll be okay.
So you were almost kind of forced back into it in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, I could have went back to work wherever. Yeah. I make things happen when I want it done.
I see. This gave you actually an opportunity to say.
Yeah, that's what it would be, an opportunity.
God, now I can do this. Let's see what this does.
I told her, I says, well, we still got a little bit of money. Let's go get my machines and I'll do some. We got an extra room in there. I'll just make that into my shop.
Yeah.
And she was hesitant for I know. I don't like to say things when I know what's going on in her head. And I just by the body language or whatever it is.
Right.
But I know. And she was hesitant. She didn't. I could see that she wasn't sure about whatever. I said, "Don't worry about it. Just don't worry. I'll make it happen." So we go back when she's watching me bring out all these ugly, dirty machines, and she's really likes to keep the thing clean, the place clean and whatnot. I said, "I'll just be in there. Don't worry. Nothing. You don't go in there. Nothing. Just leave it alone." So we get back, and she's still worried about it, and so I go in there, close the door. Day later, look at this, love. Really? You didn't tell me you make this?
She had no idea.
Yeah, no idea.
She had no idea.
All those years, she had no idea that I known her.
Yeah.
I said, that's how the kids grew up.
Yeah.
I wasn't just a bum.
Yeah, you made jewelry.
Yeah.
And so how's that gone for the last year? How's that been? What's that process? Because you're jumping into back into the world of, the art
I'm
world.
staying away from Albuquerque. I'm staying away from the people that I told I'm not going to do it no more. You're not going to get no more from me. I was upset.
Yeah, because they just weren't paying you what you're worth.
I was upset, yeah. You're not ever going to get nothing back. That's it. I'm done.
Yep.
Sell what you got and that's it.
Yep.
when I get famous, I'm not bringing nothing over here. It was kind of a joke, but still
Yeah,
seriously.
no, but I understand it. You want to be paid
Yeah,
for the quality of the work.
So I didn't. I just left it.
Yeah.
And I said, that's another thing that Chalmers told me, because I told him, I said, I'm in Tucson. He said, oh, that's a good place to be. Don't move. Stay there. That's what he told me.
And why did he say that? Because of the silversmithing opportunities, or
because of the herd? I'm close to the herd. I'm close to the gem show.
Yeah, that's true.
All the things out here.
Medicine Man Gallery.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He didn't say medicine, but anyway.
You sure? I think he must have.
But anyway, yeah. No, he just said because, and I know. I don't know how I know these things, but I just know what people are kind of thinking, and so it just kind of clicked in my head. Oh yeah.
And so you started making the jewelry.
I started.
Yeah, I know you walked into my gallery probably 5 months ago.
Okay, so what do you?
Yeah.
You say I walk into your gallery. When I came in and said, "Hey, you want to buy some jewelries?" What did you think?
I said, "Sure, let's take a look. What you got?"
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's how it always is.
And so what?
I always want to look.
And so what happened when you looked?
I was like, "Who the hell is this guy? This is really good stuff." Right?
I could see in your eye.
Yeah. I was like, "This is a really good silversmith." Who are you? And you live Tucson?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wow, that's fantastic." And your prices were fair, and you're,
And I try to keep. I think sometimes I overprice things, but
I'll let you know.
When I look back and I see it, how could I ever go any lower than that? And when I go to a show, I know what I want to get.
That's good.
Because
actually. I think it's good for artists to value their art.
I've been to a couple of shows here, and I've sold a couple of little things for what I wanted to get.
Right.
So there's no way somebody can tell me. And these people are art critics.
Right.
When they come to a show, they know their stuff.
Yeah, no, they're looking.
The people that are collecting, they know their stuff. They actually do.
Yeah, they do.
And they see my stuff here now, and they're like, "Wow, where'd you come from?" And so I said the same thing. I had a guy write up a thing for my biography, and Rebecca went and proofread it and redid it a little bit and changed it around, and he had some good words, so they kind of went together on it and came out pretty good. So that's what we had at the shows. We have a little biography. I don't know, did I give you one? I
went to your Facebook site.
Yeah.
By the way, you can find him on Facebook. Yeah. And also, I think just your name.
It's TimYazzie.com.
Yeah, as well. So I encourage people to go check out what he does, or buy from me, and I can buy more from Tim, because we want to keep.
It works both ways.
Yeah, it's true, and we want to keep Tim making jewelry. I mean, you have a real talented artist that's stifled because of life.
Yeah,
that's a drag, and sometimes people have to recognize those kind of things. And you're smart because you got out there and you brought it. You did whatever research you did. You found me and said, okay, at least I'll check this cat out and see if he's.
Actually, you can thank my wife for that.
Yeah,
she does. I sit in the room, she does the rest.
Yeah,
all I got to do is work.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And so for you to try to find but you still have to get out there and make the money. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's tempting at times, like you said the other day. I think when you came in, it's tough. The jobs are out there as an electrician. You just don't want to have to do those unless you're forced.
Well, they're after me.
Yeah, well, good electricians hard to find
too.
The
union's after me. They want me to come back to work.
Yeah, well, the Navajo and the San Felipe and the Santo Domingos and the Medicine Man Gallery are all after you too.
That's funny you should say that, though. A lot of people say natives are good workers. It comes from.
Oh, they're fantastic.
It's come from being in the field.
Yeah.
Just like the Mexicans. I don't want to sound racist or anything, but it's hard work. You got to be out there. I got to know how to.
Working as a silversmith too is no easy job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. Well, you turned around a bracelet in a day, and I was like, "What? How did you do that?"
Funny you should say that, because I know a lot of silversmiths that say it's hard. If it's hard, don't do it. If it's hard for you, that's not your medium.
Yeah, you're right about that.
If you're painting and it's hard for you, don't do it.
Right.
If it's just not for you.
Yeah.
If you're inlaying and you can't do it, don't do it.
What's your favorite kind of work to do? Because you do overlay.
Oh, that was joke. That was a joke one time. This guy asked me, "Oh, what do you call this?"
Right.
I said, "Well, it's got inlay, it's got overlay. I call it orale." But yeah, we never got back to that Jimmy Harrison thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, after Gallup, I learned a little bit there, so I'm on top of the world. I know how to inlay.
Right.
I could put stones in the bracelet or
Right.
necklace, whatever it might be. So Jimmy had a thing in the paper says, "I need silversmith." I mean, inlayers.
He needs an inlayer.
Yeah, and it's just a little tiny. Back in the day when you had to read the newspaper to find out where the jobs were.
Yeah, like a Gallup
Yeah.
Times or something.
No, it was in Albuquerque.
Oh, it was an Albuquerque Journal.
And so I answered the ad, and he said, "Well, when can you start?" I said, "I can be there tomorrow." Okay, whatever time. I said, "What do you mean, whatever time? What time you want me there?"
Right.
So I show up at 6 a.m. He said, "Oh, it's early." His shop's in his apartment.
And were you living in Gallup at that time, or
No, I was back and forth from Gallup because I have a place in San Felipe there.
Yeah,
and
that's a long hike. That's a long drive.
But so I come back to Albuquerque, and then I had a place there with one of my friends. He had an apartment in the war zone, and so I camped out there, helped him with the rent, whatever. And so I went to go see this guy at 6 o'clock in the morning. He comes to the door all still in his
pajamas.
Yeah, his shorts or whatever, and knocking on his door. I said, "You said whatever time, I'm here." "Oh, are you Tim?" I said. He said, "Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, come in." So
yeah,
I would go walking in, and there it is, his shop. Actually, he interviewed me first for a little bit.
Yeah.
"What have you done?" And I told him I was working at Nugget Gallery. "Oh, I know the guy. His name is Steve something. I can't remember the last name. But anyway, so a guy showed up. They went straight to the shop and just started working. It was Jonathan Kellywood, guy named Rusty Blevins, not Blevins, Rusty Bowens.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tease him because he looked like. You ever watched The Little Big Man?
Oh, yeah,
Dustin
of course.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
You know how
when one of my favorite movies as a kid.
When he got kidnapped, his face was always dirty.
Right.
That's exactly what Rusty looked like. So
Rusty, if you're listening, sorry.
Yeah, somewhere. I'm sorry, bro. But anyway, he was there. But Rusty, John Kellywood, Johnny Hardin's passed away. He was one of the guys, and then myself. So I go in there, I tell him the story, he interviews me. He says, "All right, you ready to do something?" I said, "Okay, let's go." So he gave me those horseshoe earrings that he does. Here's some turquoise. So all you need to do is make them square. See how Rusty's doing it? Come here, Rusty.
Yeah.
He showed me that earring. So I just make these tees and then put them all together. But they got to be straight, 90 degrees. I want 90 degrees. Okay. Oh, I was breaking them. I said, "How's that?" And it's not 90 degrees, Rusty. What do you know? You're just a white guy. I said, "Stop it. I'm Cherokee." Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so comes Jimmy. He said, "You've been here for a while." I said, "Yeah, that's what I got." I had to fit it in there and everything. Do it again.
Wow.
So, I started to get frustrated.
Yeah.
I started getting mad. But in my mind, I was like, I got to learn this because I seen some of his bracelets.
Right.
I want to get to that.
To that level.
So I stuck it out. I stayed there.
Do you think he did that purposely to test you? Just to see if you had what it took?
No, he genuinely...
He didn't
he
like what you
can't sell
did.
it.
Yeah, he just thought this is garbage. It's not. Doesn't represent me. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, he didn't sell it.
And was he right?
Looking back, yeah, probably. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
If it was my son or my whoever.
Yeah.
I would tell him do it right.
Yeah.
It's only going to help you in the long run. So I sat myself there and I said, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
The first day.
So how long did you work that job?
I was there from 92 to 90, or it was 91 to 93, almost 93. And that's when Chalmers showed up. I was getting pretty friendly with Jimmy there, and we were all.
And then did you work for Chalmers?
Chalmers showed up, and they went in on a shop over on University and Manoa.
Uh-huh.
In that little truck stop there, there's these office buildings. That's where we had the shop at. So Chalmers had his little room, and then we had the back room with all the inlayers and Jimmy's workstation and whatnot. And then after about maybe a couple, 3 months or 2 or 3 months, and Chalmers started wanting to do inlay. So he asked my buddy Johnny, and Johnny was all, hey, Chalmers asked me to do some inlay. He must think I'm bad. Because we were always like, we always friendly competition, who could do better or whatnot. And so Johnny saw I was kind of jealous. I was like, why did he ask you? He didn't even look at mine. Because we go to the bar together. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I walked by, hey, Chom, you want a beer? Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's, where are you from? I said, from San Felipe, SF. I said, oh, your last name's Yazzie? I said, yeah. But my grandpa, I told him the whole story.
Right.
So he started kind of towards leaning me my way, and he would check out my work. And then all of a sudden, about a month went by after I started, talking with him, and he says, you know what? How long you been working for Jimmy? I said, about maybe a year and a half. He says, you should ask Jimmy to pay you more. I said, why? I said, those are his prices. He said, he's making you do your own designs, and those guys are doing all his designs. You should charge him more.
Yeah.
Because it's your design.
Right.
Yours is way different. I see it. I don't know if that was him trying to get between us to split us up, or if he was genuinely
right
concerned about me putting my own stuff out there.
You got to remember, he's an artist too.
Yeah.
And he could see that you were an artist.
Yeah.
I could see another artist going, you're an artist, you should be paid as an artist.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to, well, maybe I will.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So he asked me to do a couple of pieces from me. Well, in that time, him and I started getting buddy. So and then I sing powwow. So I used to go out, and he had a drum with his brothers and stuff. So we started going to powwows together, and the whole family thing.
And then you worked for him for a while too?
About a year and a half, I guess. Maybe in '94 is when I went, because he started coming down on his prices too. I don't know what that was about, but he started paying me way up here and then started coming down. And I was like, wait, when I first started, that same when you paid me,
right.
It was whatever amount of money.
Right.
And then, so I said, shoot. And then in the meantime, I would come in his office, I would watch him just sawing away. Yeah. I never asked him. I never stepped on his toes. I never went over there, hey, let me see, what are you doing?
Right.
How do you do that? Or,
right.
I just sat there and watched him.
But you were absorbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you would call it.
Yeah.
But I would watch him.
Yeah.
Every now and then I would say, hey, man, what does that mean? Or what do you think? And that's when he started telling me, well, what does it mean to you? Yeah. You come from Pueblo.
Right. Yeah.
Don't you see your dances, or don't you go to the field, or,
Right.
So I start putting two and two. Oh, I see.
Yeah. You're incorporating your own heritage.
So
which is really, you got more to pull from than most people, right?
So I would tell him, hey, how about this? And how about this? And sometimes, that would look good.
Yeah.
Chalmers, and I started noticing he would, ideas that I would give him, he would make into. It's not something that I would be able to do, but he would take some idea that I told him, and he'd just pop out in the next piece. I was like, wow, that's
he was really talented.
I was like, that's what we're really talking about.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I like you here because you give me ideas.
So that's some pretty intense silversmithing for a lot of years.
Yeah.
That's where you really got your chops.
There's a lot of drinking, a lot of fun, a lot of barbecues, a lot of power, a lot of singing, a lot of just everything.
Right.
It was remarkable. If it wasn't for the alcohol, I'd say it's the best part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then just one day I just said, there's another time when Jimmy went on, I don't know if it was on vacation or he went to go sell somewhere or did a show somewhere. Mm-hmm. But he said, okay, I'm gonna leave all this stuff with you. I need to have it done by the time I get back. I had a couple of bracelets and the other guy's hat. And Johnny wasn't gonna work, he was gonna go with them. So he said, yeah. So as soon as he left, everybody, I think it was Kelly who first said, I'm gonna make something. And Jimmy had his thing full of blades and whatnot. So there goes Johnny. Kelly was sawing and making this stuff, and I didn't pay any attention to it at first. When he was done, then Rusty, I'm gonna make something too. So And then after they all got done, they said, Tim, why don't you make something? And in my mind right away, I said, they're telling me to make something they're not in trouble. I'll be a part of it too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
Because they broke all his blades. He had like,
Oh my.
maybe 6 or 7 dozen blades.
Oh wow.
And when I got there was only 3 blades left. And so I had some red brass. And so I sat down over there and I said, I think I'll make a ring, because I had been watching him too. So I made a Jimmy Harrison style or Navajo style, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I made a ring, and I started cutting. And Chalmers popped in on me a couple of times, and he said, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm just trying to make a ring. I said, I got some opal I'm going to put in here. He said, no, don't put that opal in there. Use some of my old turquoise. I said, nah, I want an opal. So I had a little Mexican opal. It was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where I got it. But anyway, I sawed it out and I cut it. And I didn't break one blade. And so I put it out, did the inlay. It was done. I don't know, I guess the next week sometime we're sitting there after Jimmy came and had his tantrum, whatever, on the Monday.
I'm sure.
So yeah, that week, the next week we sat out there, and he says, remember you guys were all in there and I was watching you guys. And I said, yeah. I said, what'd you think? I said, Jimmy's right, man. Those guys use all his blades. I said, how come you didn't tell him you only used one? I said, why? I was still part of it. I still use some of his stuff.
Right.
And he goes, nah. It's not good. He said, but I'm going to tell you what, man. He said, all those guys, he said, all the guys I've seen cutting, he said, you got it.
Yeah.
He told me, you got it, Tim.
Yeah. You do have it, Tim.
He said, don't lose it.
Yeah.
So from that day, it was probably about 6 months later, I said, it went to my head. So I said, I'm going to go buy my own stuff.
I thought you'd go out on your own and try it.
So I bought me a coping saw. I bought me those bench pin.
Right.
And I got a piece of silver. Back then the silver was like almost $5 an ounce.
Right.
So I went and I set it up, and I didn't even remember to catch all the silver, the scraps, whatnot. Cut everything. Oh, I drew it out and then I cut it, soldered it. Oh, I got a tank and I soldered it, and ugliest thing you ever see.
The bracelet was?
It was a pendant about this big.
Did you stamp it with your stamp? Did you make a stamp at that point? Did you go, okay, I'm going to stamp this?
I don't remember what I put under. I think I put silver, and I think I put a T and a Y, but side by side.
Yeah.
I think that's what. And I gave it to my mom.
Yeah.
I said, here, Mom, I made this. Oh, it's pretty, lovely, whatever. I said, you're right.
She's a mom.
She still has it somewhere.
Yeah.
She tells me she has it.
Tell her to
but
keep it.
I've never seen it.
Don't want it on the market.
I've never seen it again. But she tells me she has it.
Yeah.
When I say, let me see it, Mom. Oh, I don't know where I put it at.
And so how did that work for you going out on your own? Were you able to do that for a while, or did that not work out like you thought?
Again, that light
Yeah.
came on.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't know, some reason, always somebody wants to help. Oh, you do jewelry? Yeah, come on.
So you were able to do it?
Yeah.
And how long did you do it on your own like that?
My kids are how long now?
20s.
I think they were probably like 3. So son was probably 3 at the time when I did that. I call him son. It's Junior, Timmy Jr.
Yeah.
And up until he was about 16.
Yeah, so you did it for almost 20 years, 15 years.
And I just kept it on the down low and just did my jewelry, went home.
Yeah.
Coached baseball and
you were
wrestling.
Yeah.
And nobody knew.
And occasionally played golf?
No, I never. No, that's this year.
Yeah, we're going to get him into
Yeah,
golf.
but that's all of that stuff I did for years, and just nobody knew. Like I said, my wife didn't know.
Yeah, well now, let me just say, on the Art Dealer Diaries,
Yeah.
with Tim Yazzie, they do know.
Mm-hmm. People are starting to
And
know.
they're going to find it. And I encourage people to come and go to your Facebook, come to my website. You'll see more information, follow this. But Tim Yazzie, you are a great silversmith, and I know I've handled a lot of, from antique to the best of the best, and you can hold your own, man. You've got the skill set and the discipline and all those things I think are required to be successful. Now you just got to keep making making art and let that light keep flying that you're doing.
Yeah, this week especially, I did that bracelet for you.
Yeah. Did a great busy bracelet. I'll make sure it's on the web to see. Well, you did 3, but one of them was really exceptional.
If
I don't keep it.
Somehow the last month and a half or 2, I've been thinking like, wow. In the past, I've been making little things like fast sellers.
Right. Just things you can sell quickly.
So now my thing is, I sat down after I came up here and I saw you, and I saw that lander that you have. I want something like that.
Yeah. And
I want to do something that's going to be worth.
Right.
If it's not worth that much to people, then at least to me, it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
I encourage you to do that kind of stuff. You have the skill set for sure.
So I sat down and I'm making a reversible currently, and it's going to have inlay on the left and right. And all of this kind of built up to it.
Yeah.
So I've done things like that in the past, but I let it go cheap. And it's when I could find all that pink coral, the nice looking pink coral, all the red coral, the stuff. I got a little bit of red coral right now, but
very good.
I'm gonna do that kind of thing. And I've been telling you, I want to get away from the little shops that I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep you. I'm gonna keep Garland's.
Great guy.
Maybe Bati.
Also a good guy.
Just simple, and Wright's Gallery is going to be one of them.
Yeah, those are all good galleries, you know.
And that's where I want to be at.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I want to be Market, the Herd. Those. Yeah,
just
those
you're doing, I think, all the things you're supposed to do, and most importantly, you're producing the work that's great, and you've got a killer work ethic. So I'm looking forward to spending lots more money with you over.
I'm looking forward to you making a lot more money to get my name out there. And that's the other thing I was telling my wife, that regardless of what we do, the people that we keep in our lives, the good people, it has to be good people, because we know a shitload of bad people. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that word, but it's just we know a lot of people that just
life's too short to not fill it with the right kind of people,
good.
And you're one of those right kind of people.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for being on my podcast. And
you didn't ask me about golf.
I didn't ask you about what?
Golf.
Well,
we're gonna have to go.
I'm waiting to see how you can play before
we're gonna have to go.
Yeah, I'll take you out.
We're gonna have to go.
Yeah, keep practicing.
Let me know.
I shot a 41 yesterday.
Wow,
on
is
the
that
front 9? Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say 9.
And that was with 2 doubles.
Really? Okay, I just joined the league.
Yeah.
Over at the Pines.
Yeah.
And it's with the guys from the union. They told me, come on, let's play. Guy says 90s. I said, 90. Wait, let me see. For each hole, that's like 9 shots. How are you? Okay, it's 8. Hitting 8 times at each hole.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, 90, whatever, 81. But
be careful, man.
So
golf will take all your time.
And it does. But I make time for it, and
it's fun.
And I've turned it around from a massive slice. I go down the middle now.
Yeah.
But I'm not far.
All right, we'll go out and play. I guarantee you.
You probably hit twice as far as me, but I'll get there one of these days.
No, just down the middle.
Yeah, that's where it's got to be.
Just down the middle. I'm not a great golfer, but I like what I do.
That's why I wore this today.
Yeah, I saw that guy. All right, baby. Okay. All right, thank you. Tim Yazzie.
All right, thank you.
The Art Dealer Diaries are brought to you by Medicine Man Gallery, located for over 26 years in Tucson, Arizona, specializing in antique Native American art, early Western art, including the famed Maynard Dixon, as well as modern art. You can find everything online at medicinemangallery.com. There's over 6,000 objects to select from. Also, the Charles Bloom Murder Mystery Series, written by yours truly, me, Mark Sublette. There's 6 books in this series, and they follow the protagonist Charles Bloom through all the intrigue of the art world set in Santa Fe and the Navajo Nation. These can be found on Audible, ebooks, Amazon, and of course, the gallery at medicinemangallery.com.